Good evening, everyone. This is Bella Benson, and I'm joined with my good friend Miguda. Miguda, how are you doing?
Good evening, bro. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Okay. I don't know whether my volume is okay.
Your volume is okay.
Okay. How are you doing, and how is your Wednesday?
We are making progress Wednesday
Yes.
with the current. You understand we are in a rainy season. It's raining
Oh,
cats and dogs.
so, people have already planted, or people? What is going on? Are we planting, or
Plowing,
we are harvesting?
plowing.
Or we are plowing now? We want to get ready for planting.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you so much.
but some
There's
people
some.
have also planted, and some people are also waiting for to harvest.
Oh, okay. That is commendable because if we have enough food, then we will be okay. There's so much that is happening right now, and I'm seeing Judith is with us here. Thank you so much for joining so early. Our project is still going on. We'll pin the number whereby, and we thank some of my friends actually have started contributing. So, which means it shows a good sign. Yeah. Mako Miguda, kuna jambo nataka kukuuliza, tafadhali utanisaidia. Ni fasihi kuna wimbo ambao nilikuwa nasikiza na ili, ilifanya nikakuja, nataka kujua wazo lako kuhusiana na maandishi yake. Nimetoa tu tuseme kwamba sehemu tu chache, muktadha tu kidogo tu. Hii huu wimbo ilikuwa imeimbwa na mwanamuziki fulani, alikuwa anaimba kuhusu mapenzi. Unajua mapenzi ni kitu ambacho inasumbua sana, na mapenzi iko na aina nyingi sana za mapenzi. Kuna ile mapenzi ya Bwana Yesu Kristo, kuna mapenzi baina ya binadamu, familia na vitu kama hizo, zipo mingi sana. So katika uandishi wake aliandika hivi uh, uh, katika kitabu chetu cha mapenzi wacha nirudie. Katika kitabu chetu cha mapenzi, kurasa umechana chana, hazisomeki tena tena, zimepoteza maana. Mpofu moyo wangu ulishindwa kuona kwa kuandikwa kwangu kwamba ananitema. Umeisikia?
Nimeisikia, lakini unaweza rudia kidogo.
Nirudie? Wacha nirudie tena. Kitabu chetu cha mapenzi, kurasa umechana chana, hazisomeki tena tena, zimepoteza maana. Mpofu moyo wangu ulishindwa kuona kwa kuandikwa kwangu kwamba ananitema.
Nimepata,
Umeipata?
nimepata sasa vizuri
Eh,
vizuri sana.
wewe unaweza sema vipi?
Ningependa kusema maneno matatu
Yeah.
na nikienda zaidi maneno manne. Kwanza, huyo mwandishi ndiposa nimeanza kusema ni fasihi ya andishi. Yote kuna fasihi simulizi na fasihi ya andishi, tuko na tofauti mbili za fasihi. Sasa huyo mwandishi anazungumzia mapenzi, na hapo awali wakati tulianza mazungumzo ulisema kuna aina tofauti za mapenzi. Nakubaliana na wewe ya kwamba ni ukweli kuna aina za mapenzi, na ile mapenzi inaitwa mapenzi ya agape, ile mapenzi yetu sisi na yule Mwenyezi Mungu aliyetuumba. Na vile vile kuna ile mapenzi ya romantic ya wale wawili, msichana na mvulana, na vile vile kuna ile mapenzi ya brotherhood ama sisterhood love. Sasa huyu mwandishi ni mwandishi nampenda sana, kwa sababu amechukua moja mapenzi na kuandika katika kuhusu mapenzi ya romantic, mvulana na msichana. Kwa nini niseme mapenzi ya romantic? Amezungumza mambo na moyo, ya kwamba moyo, na hii moyo, mapenzi za moyo zile mapenzi za mvulana na msichana ama baba na mama. Sasa huyu mwandishi anazungumzia hii mapenzi, na vile vile hapo awali amesema kitabu chetu. Chetu inamaanisha kwamba yeye na mpenzi wake wako wawili. Anasema kitabu changu, kitabu chetu, ya kwamba hii mapenzi inahusika watu wawili, yeye na mpenzi wake, na vile vile ni mapenzi ya kimoyo. Na sasa akiangalia mapenzi yao ni kama kuna tatizo. Tatizo inamaanisha kwamba hapo awali mapenzi ilikuwa kitu ya muhimu ambaye inalinganishwa na kitabu, ambaye kuna umuhimu sana hapo mwanzo, lakini vile muda unasonga unapata kuna tashwishi, na hapa kuna vitu amesema ya kwamba moja, mwishowe amezungumzia mambo ya kutemwa. Kutemwa ni kitu ambaye huwezi kuyakula. Sasa ni kitu ambayo unaitema tu, ni kitu ambaye
kitu ambacho
kimeoza,
imetafunwa kabisa, alafu ikatemwa,
kimetafunwa kabisa. Sasa
haina maana tena,
haina maana. Hiyo ndio muhimu, haina maana. Sasa hapo nimesema maana matatu. Ya kwanza, kuna mapenzi hapo awali ya watu wawili, na vile vile mapenzi ya romantic, na sasa mapenzi imetemwa, mwisho wake imefika mwisho wa dahari. Sasa hivyo ndio mimi naweza eleza muktadha wa dondoo.
Okay, asante sana, lakini mimi pia niko na maoni tofauti, kwa sababu pale ambapo nakubaliana na wewe ni kwamba ukiangalia mwandishi sana sana ukiangalia kwa undani sana, inamaanisha kwamba alikuwa anaongelea mapenzi ambayo ya uhusiano baina ya labda msichana na mvulana ama bibi na bwana. Nakubaliana na hapo, lakini mimi kuna vitu ambazo naangalia, kwa sababu anasema katika kitabu chao cha mapenzi anasema kwamba kurasa zimechanwa hazisomeki tena, na hapo palipa kuchana kinamaanisha kwamba hao watu wawili walikuwa na story yao iliandikwa katika kitabu cha mapenzi, lakini mojawapo alikuja akachukua, tuseme kwamba hiyo storybook akachana, labda siku moja kama alikuwa anatembea akapata ukurasa moja labda iko kwa barabara. Sasa unajaribu kuisoma, unapata kwamba asisomeki tena, kwa sababu huwezi jua ni nini alikuwa anasema kabla and nini alikuwa anasema baada ya ukurasa ambao alikuwa anasoma. So imechanwa, sasa haziwezi someka tena, ama labda hiyo kitabu alichukua akaikatakata kwa upande tudogo akaitupa uzo makurasa. So unapata inakuwa ni vigumu sana hata yeye saizi kusoma kwamba hii mapenzi yetu ukurasa imechanwa siwezi kurasa imechanwa siwezi someki tena, huwezi soma. Inamaanisha katika mapenzi yao labda walikuwa wamekosana mpaka saizi huwezi jua ilianzia wapi, waweze hata kumbuka. Hiyo ni ya pili. Ya mwisho anasema mpofu moyo wangu ulishindwa kuona. Sasa hapa tunakuja kwa moyo. Kwa kawaida tunajua moyo haina macho, kwa sababu anasema mpofu ni yule mtu haoni, ama kama we ni kipofu uko na shida ya kuona. Lakini sasa nazungumzia moyo haiwezi ona, lakini anasema kwamba mpofu moyo wake alishindwa ona kwa kuandikwa. Inamaanisha hata wakati ambapo alikuwa katika mapenzi, labda yeye mwenyewe alikuwa mpofu, hakukuwa naona kwamba maandishi ambayo yalikuwa yameandikwa na kwamba yeye alikuwa naenda kutemwa. Na hii ni funzo kubwa sana, na nilikuwa nataka kama rafiki yetu Douglas Kibogong angekuwa hapa, kwa sababu jambo ambalo tunazungumzia mambo ya fasihi ama sana mambo ya uandishi wa sanaa. Na pia jana tuliongea mambo ya wasanii kutumia talanta zao kwa wakati kusema jambo ambao labda inatendeka. Na saa zingine mwandishi huyu labda yeye mwenyewe kwamba labda alikuwa ameshapitia pale kwa mapenzi. Na hiyo kupitia anaandika kuonyesha ulimwengu kwamba hivyo ndio ilikuwepo. Labda kuna rafiki yake mahali alimpigia story akasema Story yako nzuri kweli, wacha ni iweke kwa wimbo ili jamii ijue. Ama kuna watu ambao jamii ambao sisi tunaishi, vitu kama hizi watu wamepitia. Sasa anatuma ujumbe, ndio maana unapata wimbo kama hizi ama maandishi kama haya, utapata siku moja sana sana kwa mtandao ya jamii, wale ambao wako na masimu utapata wameweka kwa status, labda kuashiria kwamba jambo kama hili kinatendeka, ama kutuma ujumbe kwa mtu fulani. Mimi hivyo ndio naona. We ama nimekosea hapo kaka?
Hujakosea. Nasema pengine inaweza kuwa ni mambo ya ukweli ambayo ilifanyika, na vile vile inaweza kuwa ile mafunzo kwa jamii ya kwamba mambo na mapenzi mwishowe huenda ukatema. Mapenzi si mwisho wa dunia, mapenzi si do or die. Sasa inaweza kuwa mafunzo katika jamii, na vile vile inaweza kuwa kitu ambayo ilifanyika na ilifanyikia mwandishi, na vile vile inaweza tumiwa kama sanaa vile umesema, ambaye ni kama kioo cha jamii, na kwamba katika jamii, unajua katika jamii pia mapenzi ni kitu iko katika jamii, na mapenzi katika kila familia kuna mapenzi. Hata kando na mapenzi ya familia, tutapata kuna mapenzi pia hapo ya vijana chipukizi. Sasa mwandishi anajaribu kueleza anajaribu kueleza iwapo hata kama kuna tatizo katika mapenzi yenu, ama kama mapenzi yenu ilikuwa inabuka, lakini huenda ikakamilika. Hiyo ni mafunzo, nadhani tu ni mafunzo bado.
Unajua, kwa kawaida sana sana kuna maneno huwa tunatumia sana katika jamii, sana sana wewe pia umeitumia, labda saa zingine tuwezi jua maana ama maana yake ni nini. Tukisema kwamba sanaa ama labda kiongozi tu, wewe tunakuangalia kama kioo ya jamii, na tunajua kioo ni ile tuseme kwamba ni kitu ambacho unaweza kuwa umesimama mbele yake, alafu unajiangalia, unaiona, unajiona wewe mwenyewe. Sasa mtu akikwambia kwamba wewe ni kioo cha jamii, inamaanisha nini?
Kioo cha jamii si ati wameweka kioo sasa unajiona. Hiyo ni swali nzuri. Ni vizuri kuuliza hiyo swali kwa sababu unaweza assume ya kwamba kila mtu anaelewa Kenya sema, lakini kuna wale hawajaelewa. Kuna hata wale wamesema hawakupitia katika masomo za fasihi. Sasa ningependa kuieleza katika lugha ya Kimombo ya kwamba when we talk about that, it is a reflection, it's a mirror of the society. It means it's a reflection. Society. It depicts what's happening in our society. It is the ongoing, socially, culturally, economically, even politically. It tried to reflect the actual occurrence in the community. That is why they are being used particularly to the younger generation, so that whenever they grow up, they understand that this is how society looks like. Let me tell you one thing. Even if for those who are interested to study the LLB, if you want to study LLB, it reflects the economical, the political, the social, and the cultural occurrences of the community where you are. And now, because it's advanced at master's level and also at the PhD level, you're going to understand the community, not only your community, but the diversity of the community. At the same time, the global perspective, whereby the communities are globally, that is the Western culture, that is the English, you go even the Romance. So you understand it, not only the political setup, but also the economical and social cultural practices. But now it has been put into details on a different occasion. Hiyo ndio ningependa kueleza ndugu yangu Brother Benson.
Okay, asante sana. Unajua saa zingine kuna maneno labda tunasema sasa tukitaka kuitafakari ama kupatiana amani inakuwa unapata kwamba si rahisi vile, kwa sababu unapata kwamba sana sana huwa watu ambao tunaelezewa kwamba wewe ni kioo cha jamii ni wale watu ambao labda wamefanikiwa kwa namna fulani. Ni kwamba jamii wanakuangalia, wanakuambia kwanza lazima huyo unakaa kama kioo cha jamii. Kila mtu inafaa afuate ama amuige yeye ama ukuwe mtu wa kuigwa, ambapo unapata sana sana kwa wale ambao labda hawakupata nafasi ya kubobea ama tunasema kwamba wamefeli katika maisha, unapata kwamba wawezi ambiwa kwamba wewe ni kioo cha jamii na labda hawana umaarufu. Yeah, so hapo pia lazima tuangalie, kwa sababu kuna wale ambao hawana maarufu sana katika jamii ama katika ujamaa ambao si tuko nao, lakini tabia zao ni tabia nzuri, wanakuwa kama kielelezo cha jamii. Unapata kwamba wengi hawaongelei juu yao, labda kwa sababu umaarufu wao ni chache. Hiyo inaweza kuwa. Sasa inafaa kioo cha jamii isikuwe tu kwa wale ambao wako na umaarufu, lakini pia inaweza kuwa kwa wale ambao wako na nia mzuri na kwa jamii na wanafanya vitu ambazo zinafundisha ama zinakidhi hadhi ya jamii. Wacha nichukue nafasi hii kushukuru ndugu yangu, pia naona amefika, naona pia Gibson Corner ako area. Thank you so much for joining. Judith and Brenda, thank you so much for being with us on the show. Let me take this opportunity also to welcome Makobura. Makobura, we were just having a conversation. Tulikuwa na mazungumzo, hatujaenda kwa mada ya leo. Tulikuwa na kipande cha uandishi. Tunasema kwamba fasihi fulani inakaa kama ile ecos, lakini iliandikwa kwa Kiswahili na tulikuwa tunajadili, tunataka kusikia maoni zetu. Naweza kakusomea, unaweza tuambia wewe unaiona vipi ama uko huru pia kusema. Katika ameandika hivi, ni pande tu kwa Kiswahili tunaita muktadha, nimetoa muktadha. Inasema, kitabu chetu cha mapenzi, kurasa umechana chana, hazisomeki tena, zimepoteza maana. Mpofu moyo wangu ulishindwa ona kwa kuandikwa kwangu kwamba ananitema. Mwandishi huyo.
Unafaa kuzungumza ama bado?
Wewe sasa utaamua kama utaizungumzia ni sawa, kama utazungumzia pia ni sawa, alafu tulete mada ya leo.
Acha tu mimi nipeane kile ambacho mimi naelewa tukisema kioo cha jamii, kwa sababu hiyo Kiswahili yote umesema mingi yao imepita hapa, alafu ikatokea hii upande mwingine. Lakini what I can say is, of course, a translation of kioo cha jamii in English is, I've not said hi. Sorry for that. First, kwa vile umeanza na Kiswahili umenitoa kwa line, umenizungusha, lakini ni sawa tu. Acha kwanza nichukue hii fursa basi ni wasalimu nyi ambayo muko kwa studio siku hii ya leo, na wasalimu katika jina la Yesu. Natumai ya kwamba nyinyi mu buheri njema. Na tena nasalimu wenzetu, marafiki wetu ambao wanatoa maoni yao huku upande ya comment section, nikianza na rafiki yetu mpendwa Judith Karuitha, Gypsy Corner na Brenda Obedi na wasaa pia, tena bila kusahau wale ambao wanatutazama ambao hawajapata nafasi ya kuandika kitu ama kunena nasi katika comment section. I want to give my definition of what I understand with kioo cha jamii. I think it's a translation of social mirror. And kioo cha jamii, or the mirror of society.
Yeah.
I think more of it suggests an art, and especially in various forms. Art can be in form of music, it can be in form of, for example, literature and other creative means like poem, you know, art comes in so many forms. Just like the echoes of war that we are talking about, it is an art. It is kioo cha jamii. It is a mirror of the society. When you say that, it simply means that it reflects our culture, more of what is incorporated in these arts, whether music. If, for example, I give you um, an example with the songs or this Angla, musician who just got married the other day, uh, Prince Hinda. He has been singing about, for example, Osiepe. There's a song he has called Osiepe, which means friends. And he's trying to talk about his friends. He's saying in that song that, tell me who your friends are. And, if you tell me, I'll be able to know, maybe your character, uh, you know, from your friends, we can get to understand the kind of person you are. We will know the people that you interact with. We will know your characters. So in that song, it says that, tell me who your friends are, and then, we will tell you who you are. So that is a reflection, or it is an art in form of music, and it reflects what is really happening in the society. It is true that if I tell you my friends na kague, utapata ya kwamba their character is almost similar to mine. So that is a reflection, and that is what really that expression mean. It also, of course, reflects values of the society, realities of the society, and I think in so saying, it would be right for us, or it would be right for people who are doing arts, or who are referring to it as kioo cha jamii, to say that it is. I mean, these kind of arts are truly a mirror, and they reveal the inner workings and social issues of the community.
Okay.
That is what I can
So,
say.
so before we go, so from the way you've explained the mirror of the society, so as we know, a mirror is it reflects to your image. So the mirror will only capture what is before it, right? So when we talk about reflection of Jamii, it doesn't matter what kind of subject is before the mirror. The mirror will capture it.
Yeah, the mirror gives you a reflection, a true reflection of what you've the image that is before it. So it doesn't sugarcoat.
Yeah.
That is why personally,
yeah,
I'm finding it hard for those who are trying to ignore the echoes of war, because that is a typical reflection of the society that we have.
okay.
And if you put the current political and everything that is happening before the mirror, that is what you will get. So I don't know why they don't want to just acknowledge the fact that this is an art, and these are realities, and it is part of the things that we normally interact with.
Okay, Makobura, thank you so much for that. And thank you, everyone, on the comment section. We are still continuing with our project, and we are supposed to buy almost some rims for a particular school, especially to our parents, some of them who do not cannot afford. So it's still going on. I've received quite from some other friends. So far we are doing good, and I hope by the time we will be getting the date, we will bring you full update. Before we go again to the main discussion, and the main discussion, what can President do now? Because what can President William Ruto do now based on what is happening in the political terrain, But there's something also that I've caught my eyes, Makobura and Bigud. I want us to weigh our thoughts on it. I think you remember very well when last weekend, I think it was on the weekend, when the aide of the Right Honorable Prime Minister was being buried, and James Orengo came out to make some remarks during that. So just to give you a synopsis, then there was a counter conference that was held today by the Ramogi professionals, and they were asking James Orengo to apologize for disrespecting, for embarrassing Raila Amolo Odinga at his lowest moment. I will bring you that. Then I need to weigh I need to get your thoughts. And before I do that, let me just bring you to speed some of the some of the things that Orengo said that day. I will not bring all of it, but I can just paint a picture of what happened. Orengo talked about calling people to fight for their rights. In brief, Orengo also said, I'm urging you Kenyans, this constitution we fought for is a very difficult document. To keep it, so keep on. So when you have this constitution, you cannot keep on singing praise every time. We will not have a country. That was, tell your leaders the truth. I'm just speaking them. And he made a scenario. He says that this is before the broad-based government. He said that when President William Ruto visited, I think it might be CIA, before the broad-based government, you know that the Azimio wing and the Kenya Kwanza were not getting eye to eye to the fact that they believed that Ruto was not elected, or they questioned the process by which Ruto became the president. So some of them did not recognize the presidency of William Ruto. And Orengo reminds them during that burial that during that time, before that, when the president was here, I was the only one who received him. Even I tried to talk to Otiende Amolo refused to come. The reason why I did that, because I believed that institutions are working. That's what Orengo said. Not I believe. He said that why he did that, institution must work. So which means, despite the fact that during that time, there was no agreement, or there was that political differences between the two camps, and they were not seeing eye to eye. But when the president visited Siaya, first of all, Orengo recognized that the president was the president of Kenya, and the constitution has given him power to be the president. And again, he has to be there as the governor of Siaya to confirm to him that the institution must work. That was Orengo. Yeah, then Orengo goes on and said that I don't do song praise again. Then he say that the country will go to the dogs again if the kind of languages I'm hearing from here continue. Yeah. And he said that the development that you're being brought to account, even to Sia, is a matter of right, and nobody should sing a praise for that. So those are the remarks that Orengo made. But today, the counter that has come from the Ramogi professionals say that Orengo embarrassed the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga at his lowest moment. They demand an apology from Orengo to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And now at the press, they tender their sincere apology to the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga and President William Ruto. I'm still bringing you to the core. They went further and say, because of the embarrassment that Orengo showed during the burial, if the members of county assembly sees it that Orengo embarrassed them, they can censor him. And also, they can impeach him. That is one. Then they say that we have to agree that now we are in the government. So that is something that we want to touch on a little bit before we go into the main discussion of the day. I saw that and I say, okay, this is something worth discussing. As we discuss that, the other day is one of the constituency in Kisumu. I don't know whether you saw the picture of a family who lost their loved one. And they were now ferrying the body from home.
I saw that in the constituency of Rosabuyu. Yeah, Rosabuyu's constituency. Not Kisumu town, Rosabuyu, Kisumu West.
Yeah, Kisumu West. Yeah, Kisumu West. Where Olago used to be before.
Yeah.
So the video.
Yeah. And you have also forgotten, there's also a presser that was made, was it yesterday, by some people from Migori. They were also talking about Orengo not respecting the Luos, not respecting Raila, not respecting the president.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give my opinion on that?
Yeah, you can.
I wish I knew those people at a personal level, those who hold those briefs or pressers.
Yeah.
When James Orengo was fighting for their rights, they were, walienda wakajifunga kwa nyumba zao. They were doing nothing. They were nowhere to be seen. So I wonder where they're getting that guts of coming out to lecture an activist of the caliber of James Orengo. This issue of psychophancy, it's been in the lowland. We've seen it. And there are points that we can allow. There are points that we can allow such characters to proceed with their narrative. But when it comes to fighting for the rights of the people,
yeah,
it is known that more of the activists, of course led by Raila Amolo Odinga and the likes of James Orengo, and ODM at some point was known as a party that was fighting for the rights of the people. So let them not forget the fact that those people who are pretending to be holding pressers, I know they are still in ODM, and they should know what ODM has always been known for. And if they're truly ODM members, they had to respect that. And if they're not doing that, then what I can say is that if we allow such kind of comments, if we allow such kind of busybodies to come in the limelight and start lecturing activists or people who are fighting for the rights of the people of Kenya. Brother Ben, we've come from far as a country.
yeah,
And these are not the days where we are going to pamper presidents, people that we've elected with our votes, people that we woke up early in the morning to vote, that they want to mess the country. And you want the citizens to just nyamaza, ati mukae tu. If they were given something, let them eat whatever they were given. If they were sponsored to hold those pressers, let them do so. But let them respect the community that is Luola, and let them respect the activism that has always been associated by the likes of Orengo. Because if they are coming with this kind of negativity
yeah,
and and tumbocratism, beliefs or style of living, then it's going to paint that community very wrongly. The people of Luoland has always been known as people who stands with the truth. As much as there's a good number of sycophants who still follow Raila blindly, but there are some matters when it comes to fighting for the rights and talking about leadership and power. The community of Lura has never shied off, and if they're doing so, actually, that is a big embarrass. It is a big embarrassment. Uh, I hope Gypsy Corner got my message.
yeah,
I'm simply saying that the ODM, they've somehow, not once, but several times, come out demanding or telling the people of Luo Nyanza, because that is the dominant party over there. And if you've been listening to the political class, especially those who are coming from that area, and again, just the same James Orengo. If you remember a speech that he made some times back, that when he was speaking about ODM, that let not members of parliament or political leaders, especially
yeah,
those from ODM, let them not just come out and praise the government blindly, and especially when the government is going against the rights of the people. And I remember this is a quote which I'm making. I remember him saying that ODM has always been known as a party that fights for the rights of the people. It has always been known as a party that stands with the truth. But of course, that is not the truth. And these are some of the points that those who are going for political seats within the Luo Nyanza, those are the claims that they're coming with. That is, this is the genuine party. This is the party that fights for the rights of the people. And of course, sometimes back it was known as a party that would lead things to do with uh, fighting for the rights of the people, until the issues of handshake and everything. They tend to forget about, sometimes they tell the people to go on street to fight for a certain thing, and then before before the people gets what they want, the party leader or the top leadership, they get into a handshake and then they forget the real issue that they were fighting for. We've seen this so many times. So what I'm saying is that those members, I know they are members of ODM.
No, they're not. They're not members of ODM. What happens? They are the Luo professionals. That's how they call
I'm
them.
I'm 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 talking about the ones who owed the presser yesterday from Migori. They were saying that
Oh,
they are
okay.
members of ODM,
All right.
and that as a party, if ODM has made a decision of supporting the government, no one should go against that. And I want to tell them that in this country there's a constitution, and the constitution of the Republic of Kenya, it is up to the individual leaders to follow the constitution. If you see a government is not respecting your lives, if you see a government is doing more of abduction, is not respecting the right to live, the freedom of expression and all those things, whether you are in the party that got the presidency or whichever party, you have to stand up and fight for the rights of the people, because that is a responsibility of any leader. What I want to say about the professionals, I wonder which profession or why they are called professionals. I've always known that professionals are people who are learned, people who can help in making serious decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering why the professionals are the ones who are nowadays misleading the people, misleading the community. That is so unfortunate that you see a leader coming out to sensitize, to teach the people about what is wrong. It is true we fought for this constitution, and the people who spearheaded are the likes of James Orengo. They know the kind of sufferings that they went through. If you can remember, some of people like Orengo, he even went to Tanzania and he flew to another country. Reason being, they were fighting for issues to do with freedom of movement, freedom of expression. Now, if you want to be praising a president that is leading a government that is not respecting the freedom that they fought for, the freedom that made them leave the country, then if such a person speaks about it, what is wrong? Why are we not respecting those who fought for the freedom of the people? If you go to the Mount Kenya region, the Mau Mau, those who fought for Mau Mau, they're still respected up to date. Why are we not respecting the likes of people who fought for the democracy, people who fought for the constitution that we have? If they come out to say the truth, a group of some busybodies who are being paid by the political class to hold pressers are coming out to taint their name. That is, to me, in not in order, and that again does not really speaks about truth to power.
Okay. Thank you so
Personally,
much.
I support the move of
Mm.
James Orengo and his presser. He talked about very pertinent things which are affecting the people of Kenya, and the government in power is not looking into those things.
Okay.
And that is what we call being courageous, being bold, being a patriot.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Makobura, for your comments. Miguda, what do you have to say about the presser by the Luo, they call it the Ramogi professionals, concerning the utterances of James Orengo during the burial of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Aid George, the late George?
First, I want to categorically point out that James Orengo
Mm.
spoke of things he understands, knows them better, he wrote them. I urge Makobura, and Makobura, anytime you are watching Orengo, be keen. Orengo talked about the issue of human rights, talked about the issue of constitutionalism, talks about the issue of institutions. He talked about the issue that the rights, they are core rights, like right to life. The fact that you are born, you are free to live, and no one is supposed to take out that life because no one can give out that life. So you are supposed to live. So you must defend that freedom that basic core right to live. Therefore, he was defending the right of the people, each and every person. Then he went talked about the issue of constitutionalism, that each and every person, not the president, not Raila Odinga, each and every person, including you and me, we have a duty to defend, uphold, and respect the Constitution. That one must be underlined. Each and every person, including Orengo. It doesn't mean that when you are in the burial of someone's head, now you don't need to defend the Constitution. Who said that? No. We talked about the issue of talked about the issue of institutions, and he's very categoric. Orengo is very clear. That's why you cannot even arrest him. Very clear. He said that he received Mr. President, and I say that all of us, including me and you, we are paying allegiance to Mr. President. He is the president. We paid our allegiance to him. That's why when he went to Siaya, as the governor of Siaya, he has a duty to respect the institution, the presidency, to receive Mr. Ruto. The same Orengo said that ODM, the court has declared you are the majority. Take what belongs to you, because that is what belongs to you. It means now he respects the institution, including the court decision. And why is it that it is only convenient for them to take their position as the majority, but when he talked about the presidency, they are castigating Orengo? Finally, the issue of impeachment, and they are calling themselves professions. Which professions? The impeachment is very clear in the Constitution that you only impeach somebody because that person has gross misconduct, has gross violation of the Constitution of the Kenya, and you believe that he has committed crime that are international crimes. Those are the only grounds for impeachment. But because I defend human rights, I defend the Constitution, I defend the institution, you want to impeach me. Let them bring that impeachment. And two things. One, this issue of multipartyism. The people fought for multipartyism. That the people were subjecting us to one party state. The ODM people, most of them fought for multipartyism. They want everybody to be in ODM. Why were they fighting for multipartyism if they don't embrace that multipartyism? Finally, the issue of freedom of expression. They fought for it, and it was deliberately envisaged in the Constitution. Therefore, it is only convenient for them to speak freely. But when you speak free, like Orengo speak free to defending the human rights, the Constitution, and institution, then they are castigating Orengo. We want to tell them that we understand that this politics, but people are fools, but people are never fools again. We have to agree that we respect Mr. President. We paid our allegiance, but we don't have a duty. Like me, I don't have a duty to defend the government. That's not my duty. Orengo doesn't have a duty to defend the government. No, we paid our allegiance. He's the president. We defend the Constitution. That's a duty. We defend the rights of the people. That's a duty. But there is no duty based upon us that Migoda, you must defend the government. We are not going to defend the government because I personally am affected by the fuel levy. I'm affected by taxes. I'm affected by the new funding model because I'm still pursuing my education. I'm affected with this suppression, like fertilizers issue. Therefore, I must always defend people's right, defend the Constitution, defend the institution, but I also have a duty to ensure that the government does not subject us to harsh taxes.
Okay, thank you so much. Silly TV2, thank you so much for joining us. You are asking who are the Nyanza professional and who are they representing? So they're not called Nyanza professionals. They were called Luo professionals, stroke Ramogi professionals, and they were addressing the James Orengo, and they were addressing James Orengo over his remarks that he made during the burial of the Right Honorable Prime Minister George during the weekend. So they were saying like the words that Orengo, or the speech that Orengo made was disrespecting the Right Honorable Prime Minister and also disrespecting the president. And before, I was very keen again to go through the speech of Orengo. Orengo, before he made those remarks, he narrated especially how he defended George, especially, and what George went through the hands of the police and the justice system. And at some point, he was talking of weaponizing of weaponizing the justice system. So I think at some point where we need to draw the line, and it's at what point do we lose it, or at what point do we really fail to know what is right and what is wrong, and at what point do we forget? Because the history has it. We have the documentation, especially. The broad-based government is not the first government that we would say that the Right Honorable Prime Minister has worked with. History indicates this is the fourth one, if I'm not wrong, right? The only difference with all this broad-based government is the circumstances and the name changing. But the issues that have been pursued every time that this kind of arrangement are taking place are more or less the same. One of them being inclusivity. Yeah, it's the same inclusivity that was done during the Moi, same inclusivity during the Kibaki, same inclusivity during Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and same inclusivity during President William Ruto. Equal share of resources, working on the electoral reforms. Yeah, sharing of resources. So there's nothing that has really changed. It's only the name. So it's not the first time that it's happening. It has happened, and maybe in the near future it will happen, but the name will change. It was a BBI, now it is a broad-based government. The other one was a grand coalition. So I think when it comes to issues, and I wish that when they were addressing this, they could have addressed what we mentioned earlier, especially from the constituency of Rosaboyo, of what happened. When the family were forced to carry their body or to ferry their body, with where the roads were immotorable, yani haiwezi pitika. What can we do about that in this age and era if we are still experiencing that? When we lose our loved one, now we are taking them to the mortuary. It reaches a point whereby we cannot. Accessibility, the road accessibility, those are the things that I feel that the professional should be addressing. How can we make it? How can we make the infrastructure network in the area? In some other areas or developed areas, such like cases, if it happens, they should be airlifted. We've seen some cases because they can afford, even the member of parliament herself can afford to hire a chopper for your people. If it reaches that point where the members of the family carrying or ferrying their loved one, especially on, it painted not very good picture. Anyway, I think it also might have reached to the member of parliament desk about what his constituency is going through, so that they can do something. So and there's also something that Miguda talked about, and it's one of the things that I was.
Can I just give my comment on that before you leave that topic?
Right.
I also watched that video. It's so unfortunate that Kisumu West, not far from the CBD, actually, that is the county that is bordering the Kisumu Central, and it is also so unfortunate that there are no roads in Kisumu West, and things. It is issues to do with death and carrying the body of the dead, of one of us who has left us. It is always seen as one of things which are like very important or sacred. Once someone has left, they need to be treated in a dignified way. And I watched that clip of the body being carried, and there are no roads, and either the people who are carrying the body are speaking about the bad roads. And these are the problems that are really happening on the ground. But the members of parliament or the political leaders will not tell you. They'll not even speak about them. Instead of fighting for the rights of the people, instead of ensuring that the people get what they need, the services like roads, so that when such kind of things happen, they have an easy access. Infrastructure is number one thing that any government needs to look into. Open so many things. Infrastructure includes, of course, road, electricity, and so many things. And it also inapanua, you know, economy of that area. It is so unfortunate that that is happening in this kind of time. I remember those days that we used to see people, for example, bodies being ferried to their home for burial, and they would be carried on on a bebo kwa mikeka. The last time I saw such kind of things were when I was in around 2000, early 2000s, and the question we're asking is, where are our leaders? They have been given the opportunity by the people. They have everything. Instead of speaking such kind of things to the leaders, instead of mentioning that, fighting for the roads, infrastructure, and opening of, the constituencies, most of what they do, and you'll find that these are the people who are coming out to praise the president. The president is being praised left, right, and center, but the problems of the people who elected them, the people who elected members of parliament, governors, the president, have been forgotten. They are dying, and their stories are not, being heard. No one is listening to them. No one is listening to their plight. And the question we are asking is, where are we headed as a country? These are the kind of things that Orengo is trying to raise out. And he's saying that, you know what, stop praising the president blindly. Tell the president the truth. The abductions, tell him to, under his government, abductions are happening. Let that be stopped. Issues to do with health and SHA that is being mentioned by our good friend here, Douglas Kibogong. It is not working. People are dying left, right, and center. You know, like that person who was being taken to the morgue, he died. That person died at home. What does that tell you? Either they didn't have money to take the person to the hospital. What does that tell you? SHA is not working. They were unable to get the services of the medics. And these are the issues that, the members of parliament and the leaders need to raise to the national government or whoever is concerned. Instead of doing this, and I heard Orengo talking about, what the rights of the people are entailed in the constitution and how they fought for it and how even they fought for the multipartism. If he talks about these things, you find some busybodies are going to call pressure to call for his removal just because he's speaking, for the people. He's speaking for the, wananchi, those things which are important, directly touching the wananchi. And it is so unfortunate. And we've got leaders in those constituencies who are actually sponsoring those kind of pressures. If you are an MP, you see a group of busybodies coming to make a presser, trying to contradict an activist who is speaking about the lives of the people, then where are we? It is so inhuman to
Okay,
see
so
such kind of.
okay, I want to bring in Marco Miguda because he spoke of something that also we thought we would talk about, and the president. I think that's one of the things that the also president should do, because there are so many complaints that are coming from the public. Before we go to that, suppose Douglas is saying, suppose SHA is not working. Can we believe the doctors or no? I think, Douglas, what we are trying to talk about here, there was an incident, and the incident was a family member lost his life back at home. So they were trying to transport or to ferry the body from home to the morgue so that they can have funeral arrangements. But what happens is that the roads were impassable. So we're just asking about what is the role. We are just asking the role of leaders, and I think that it should go to her attention as a member of parliament for that particular area and see how they can make sure that we have infrastructure. That is one. Broben, who was your client that you was involved? She was not my client. We were just raising and talking about the issue that happened. Especially, we saw it going around on the social media of the body being transported. So we are just trying to reason ourselves and say that how can we make it better, and the failures of the leadership, and where they should find a way to make sure that next time it doesn't happen in this age and era. Thank you so much. Miguda, you spoke of something that was very important, and you connected it to the speech of James Orengo. You called of expression of speech, and this is one of the things that one of the points that are anchored in the Constitution. If you look at what is happening, and if you listen to the presser of the professional talking about even censoring James Orengo and urging the members, county members, if they feel that Orengo might have had, if it was a misconduct or abuse of office by the way he delivered, so they should see it within themselves, even if to bring an impeachment motion. And the impeachment of governors is something that is quite much very easy being pronounced on the on leaders right now. Remember, Natembeya also has been criticizing the challenges that this administration have been going through. Yesterday, you had Cherargei was talking about he has violated some articles of our constitution and he can be impeached. And you never know, it can find itself or everything being impeached. Why is it impeachment being an issue? And why is it that, especially that we've reached a point whereby we should always seem to be thinking the same way? But I have to think the same way you think. If I see something is very wrong, I should not say it. Why is that one happening?
This is threats. You understand? And these people they threat you, and those people who are quiet, the governors who are quiet, they are fearing threats. They will come to you if you decided that you want to defend the people's right, defend the constitution, and defend the institution. And it is not only happening within the administration of William Ruto. Even the fourth administration, third, second, and first, they happen. And it is not Mr. President who is doing these things. It is the people, the handlers, the people who are afraid of being told the truth.
Mm-hmm. So if
the reason is because they think that Orengo is a coward. Orengo is never a coward. I'm just concluding. I'm not finished. Orengo is not a coward. Orengo is not a coward, and that's why we say that we will reserve footnotes for him in the history. The reason here is Orengo has been defending the people's right. He has defended the institution and the constitution. I understand the impeachment happened within the apex of the constitution. So the impeachment will only happen. It is the people, the constitution, and the institutions where this impeachment will happen. And Orengo has been defending even the parliament, the Senate. Orengo has been defending even the courts. So if they find it's the Orengo's impeachment in court, the court also, Orengo is not a new guy in court. That's why I'm saying it's just threats that if you don't defend the government as per our agreement as the ODM, then you are an enemy to us, and we are going to impeach you because we are going to. So they are only impeaching Orengo because Orengo has differed with them in opinion, but they're not impeaching Orengo because Orengo has committed those like gross misconduct, gross violation of the constitution, and a crime internationally. They're only impeaching it because he has refused to defend the government. That's why I want to finish by saying each and every person has a right to defend the right of the people, even the right of assembly, even the right of picketing and demonstration. We have to defend it. Each and every person has a right to defend and uphold the constitution. Each and every person has a duty to also defend the institution. But you don't have a duty to defend the government. It is on your own volition that from today I want to support the government, or from today I want to oppose the government. That's why we are saying that even if there are professions which we are not in dispute, but they should give us a break, because we were not brought to come and defend the government. The government asks people to defend it. There are CSS, you have PSS, you have the president, deputy president. That is their role. They should defend the government. Us as the people, we want to ensure that we get services. I talk about the issue of the fuel levy. I talk about the issue of fertilizers, the issue of new funding model, the issue that is affecting us as the common people. That is our common interest. But whatever is happening, so should I come and defend infrastructure or fuel levy, and I'm the person who is being burdened? No, we will not do that. If you want to defend the government, just do it as per the professions from Nyanza. But for people like Orengo who are within ODM,
Yeah.
we are going to defend the people's rights. We are going to defend the constitution. Institution. That's why I say, even if it comes to institution,
Yeah.
Orengo understand that there's coordination between counties and national. That's why when Ruto went to Siaya, Orengo as a county governor received Mr. Ruto despite their indifferent political party. At the same time, Orengo opposed the president's election at the Supreme Court. But when it comes to institution, he respect it. That's why even when the Supreme Court uphold his victory, we all bound by that decision. Why is it that now they want us to also come again to defend that government, or to defend the new funding model, to defend SHA? That is not our duty. We know that we have to defend our rights and freedom,
Mhm.
constitution and institution.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is what Atandi say, and I will quote him, and I might play his sound bite. Luos are in government. James Orengo should stop pecking his nose in the affairs of national government. That is James Atandi. Let me see if I can get the audio of this.
And we are supporting this government.
Okay, that's a government.
And we are participating in creating policies for this government. And we are supporting this government inside, outside parliament, wherever we are. I want to tell my governor, the Governor James Orengo, Speaker, last weekend we were at a funeral in Siaya when the president came to condole with us. And my governor made certain remarks that were really distasteful. I want to tell Governor Orengo that Lubos were not created to stay in opposition. I know that he has been in opposition since he was born, and that there's nothing else he understands other than opposition. He's a poor manager. The country that he's supposed to run is doing badly. We want to urge him to focus on running Siaya County. That is the job he has been given to do. The affairs of the country now, the president is doing very well, he's in charge, and some of us are also holding positions that are assisting the country to move forward. Let Governor Orengo focus on their affairs. Let him stop poking his noses on the affairs of national government. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, Governor Orengo is also a governor who is interested in affairs of national government and is always begging President Ruto to help him finish his projects. I am aware that he's begging the president to help him.
Honorable Atandi, let's be careful.
You see, now,
Brother,
yes.
maybe something I'll ask you as a brother as well is why is it that if Governor James Orengo has not been performing and they've always known, why is it that this is the first time that they're coming up to say that he's not performing? The other day, with unison of the members of parliament from Siaya, of course, with their support and with the support of the MCAs, they were, impeaching the deputy president. I mean, the deputy governor. The question you're asking is, if truly they knew that he's not a performer, would they even also participated? Because these same MPs, like the one that you've just mentioned, Huyu Atandi, Huyu Moja, he spoke and he said that the deputy, I remember there's a clip where he spoke about the deputy governor and how he has not respected the party and all those things. But since they have powers, they're politicians from that area, why would they then, do what is necessary and bring the people of Siaya another governor? These are, politicians who are very, very, they just like their own, anything that is benefiting them. and this is not allowed. It is so immature for a member of parliament to make such kind of comments, because they are right procedures. If governor is not performing, of course they have power, they are politicians, and these are political moves, political interest. Why would they then tell the MCS to impeach the governor so that the people of Siaya would continue having and receiving the services which they need as a people? They elected the governor, they elected the deputy governor. The deputy governor is nowhere to be seen. We don't know what is happening. And now they're telling us about the bad things in Siaya just because Orengo spoke the other day. How comes that never come out to give us all these details? So that is hypocrisy of the highest level.
No, let me tell you something that I've really discovered in um, our political scenario on how our politics is being played. One, our politics does not have what we call the ideology logs. You know, it is a political of opportunity, and once that opportunity comes your way, yeah, you're very okay with it. And a typical example is this. I want to give you a typical example. What is now happening? In the year 2020, when we are going for election for 2022, and Biguda, you'll also make your comment on that. When we are going to election over 20, immediately after election, we have the Kenya Kwanza. And the Kenya Kwanza, based on what happened and the ruling of the courts in the Supreme Court, it was now confirmed that the Kenya Kwanza won the election through the courts. Yeah. And the Kenya Kwanza came together. And you could see how they were carrying out themselves, full of pride on what they're going to achieve. And on the other side was Azimio, who could say that they did need to win the election. And you know, all this what was happening, including a time now when they were talking about cost of living, like the cost of living has gone down. For the cost of living to go down, Ruto must go. And that one was said. Those are not my words. There was in a meeting when the Right Honorable Prime Minister was there, when he was reading that statement. For the cost of living, Ruto must go. You know, and it's not the first time. You know, and remember, even before, when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president, remember how I think the court, they did not recognize the presidency of Uhuru Kenyatta. But the very moment the handshake BBI came, Uhuru became the best. So what is happening in the politics is about opportunity. Yeah. If that opportunity is given to you, you make sure that you don't complain. Now you have to praise. If that opportunity is taken away from you, you have to complain and see what is happening. Remember who used to complain then when Rigathi Gachagua and President William Ruto were working together? Who used to complain? There's Azimio. Then President William Ruto was called manner of names. His presidency was not recognized. His presidency. Yeah. But today Rigathi Gachagua is out. He complains. The ODM is in. They praise. So it's about opportunity. So that when opportunity prevails, or when opportunity presents itself, and you have that opportunity, you no longer complain because you enjoy. But when that opportunity is taken away from you, you complain. I think we're good. I don't know whether I'm wrong.
You are not that wrong. That is the complexity of the politics. But I just want to say one thing, because it's very important. When we said, and I still insist, and I've been consistent, that ODM are in government, but people have been telling us they are not in government. They have noted experts. Raila is saying, I'm not a minister, it's in Ruto's government. We have just noted experts. We are in opposition. But today they have confirmed through their legislature that Orenga has been in opposition since he was born. Now we are in government. So, dude, we are not kids. We understand very well that they are in government, and you can't be in government and opposition at the same time. That's why, Brother Wes, when you say that opportunist, I want to agree with you slightly, because these people have been telling us that they are not in government. Now they are here defending government. But I don't want to comment on whatever he said, because that is his duty as the budget chair to defend the government. Fine. We respect his decision, we respect his attitude, but they must also respect our decision that we are saying that things are not working. That must also be taken. They must also respect our argument that the rights of the people have been violated. The constitution has been violated. The institutions has been not put into a structure to work effectively for the people. Those things we must agree. That's why we are saying we will not. This time around we are not going to accept this all shenanigans. That it is only convenient for that these rights and freedom are absolutely for leaders or are absolutely for those who are in government. But when anybody like Orengo is speaking now, they want to castigate Orengo, impeachment, and many things. Our opposition leader, poor manager. He has been a poor manager, even as we know. Who does not know? We know. But why they say that he's poor manager today? Because he has decided to defend the constitution, people's right, and institution. That is wrong. That is hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy. And that is the nature of the politicians. And it does not begin today. It has been there from time memorial. That's why I want to say that as a leader, sometimes, even if you must do anything, try to be consistent. Try to live with your principality. And that is why we, the people, we still believe that those people who defended the rights of the people, the constitution and institution, we are likely to reward them at ballot. But the people who are siding with the oppressors, I don't know how it happened in other constituencies, but as for me, that's my decision that as a voter, if I'm given that ballot to mark, I'll only consider leaders from MC to president, those people who have been defending the people's right, defending the constitution and institution, but the people who have been sycophants, loyalists, deciding with the oppressors. And let us also be clear here. Oppressor is not William Ruto. We have had oppressors before, and we have had this before. So those they have been acting in those capacities, even in previous regime, even in those olden regimes, they were siding the oppressors. Someone who's subjecting the people into harsh taxes. That's what whom we are calling oppressor. So anybody who is in association with such a person, as for me, because I'm also entitled to my opinion and also I have a freedom and also a right to express my views. That's how, if I'm given a ballot to mark, that's how I can make a decision. I want to make a decision at the polling station on my tribe. I want to make a decision on a polling station on my political party. I want to make a decision on my polling station on psychophancy and loyalists because we have played those politics and that's why we are here. But we can also say that because we are here now, let us now just live like this. We don't want transformation at Kenya imeharibika, Kenya inaporwa. Sasa wewe pora. No, you must try to correct things. We can't live this way because that's what people have been saying that you people you are just outside talking too much, castigating the government, but people are inside eating. Come and eat. Even if people are eating, you don't need to go there and eat. You need to go there and correct those messages. That's how it should be. This thing of fixing our mind that keep quiet, Miguda, don't talk too much, don't castigate us. You just find your way into ODM. We give you certificate of MCA or MP so that you can come to parliament and argue in parliament and eat. No, that is not how it should be. Let us just be realistic. Sometimes you need to correct the society, even if we have messed. Back to you, Brother Benson.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Migoda. And Makubura, I want to get your view on this because sometimes you sit down and look at the system or the political system that we've had that has produced for us the same kind of leaders continuously without giving us new faces. How can we break that cycle? Because even tomorrow, what will happen is, because it has always been a norm in our country that the broad-based government or working together will always come, and they come under umbrella of we want inclusivity, whereby the resources of Kenya are not shared equally. But when you look at the Constitution of Kenya, it elaborates and outlines on how the resources should be distributed, even how we should respect the rule of law. But like the system that has been put in place, keep on giving us leaders each and every time that will keep on talking of the same things that they're talking about today, like what honorable member was saying in parliament, that the particular community was not born to be in opposition and went ahead and justify that by saying that he's been in opposition for so long that he doesn't understand. He should go back to Siaya County, where he's coming from. But remember, they are them who campaigned for it. They knew his background even before he was voted. What does that one say about the system that we have?
The Ben, if you can remember, yesterday we talked about the voters and what it mean for the voters, and do they even have options, or do they have a say when it comes to going for the right person? And if you can remember, I gave a good clarification, that most times you find that it is not the wish of the people of Kenya to vote these members of parliament or these politicians.
Yeah.
And they do make this decision not out of their goodwill. Lakini ni vile tu wamefinywa na wana option na they have to survive. So the same way we are seeing a political class when a group of people have taken advantage over the inabilities or the inaccessible funds or ways of ensuring that the citizens also access a lifestyle that they can manage.
Yeah.
The citizens of the Republic of Kenya, majority of them are really, I would say they are really poor, and that's a fact. And it is not that they want to be poor. I think the only country actually in the Eastern Africa that people are very much active is Kenya. Kenya is a country that people wakes up very early and they work, they extra work. Someone goes to work early, reports at 6, and then leaves at 6, and they're paid 500 shillings. And they are using, physical energy the whole 12 hours. And it is not that, they want to do it that way. It is, the society and the environment has made it tough for them to survive. And so they have no option. They've got families. Life has to continue. They need to get, buy their basic needs. They need to put food on their table. And that reminds me, when I was in primary, we used to write compositions. And part of the vocabulary is what? I mean, part of those things that I remember would write mara mingi kwa hiyo composition yangu ndo nipewe katik. Nilikuwa na I used to describe that those people are poor, they will, they live hand to mouth. I didn't know that living hand to mouth is a serious thing, and it is true in the Republic of Kenya. Majority of Kenyans, 60% of Kenyans live hand to mouth. If they don't wake up in the morning and go get something, they are not going to eat. There's a higher possibility that they're not going to eat, or they're not going to, they are going to miss some meals. And these are the challenges that they are facing. The political class, on the other hand, they are aware of what truly is happening on the ground, but they know, there are some things that they've done. There are some problems that they've created. And instead of solving the problems, they are widening the problems so that they get an opportunity where the citizens would be fully depending on them. Yeah, people must work, and people are working. That's a fact. Kenyans are working. If you live in Nairobi, Laban Misiani, you would know that people are working, and people are walking, trekking to workstations, and kuna jam ya wanadamu asubuhi, watu wanaenda kutafuta na wanatoka tena jioni at 6. Kuna jam na unapata that wameenda asubuhi. Ni kazi ile unatumia nguvu the whole time, you use energy. Sasa tunaenda kukaa mahali kuandika vitu, unaenda kubebanisha vitu, at long last utalipa 200 300. Unarudi kwa nyumba, umebai unga na chakula ya hiyo siku. If you don't, these are the challenges. The political class has made it so tough for the citizens of the Republic of Kenya to survive, and they have made it in a way that the citizen has to respect or depend on them for them to survive. And that is why we are seeing situations where young people are well educated, they have gone to school, but they are not jobs. what happens next? A politician comes and tells them that, you know what, nataka leo tuende tuvuruge mahali, ndawapea 200 ama 500. They'll not deny, they'll not say no. What happens is wanakubali, wanaenda wanavuruga. Wakikuja deep down, akikaa chini akijiangalia, anajiambia what I did was wrong, but do I have an option? You have no option, because you have a family, the wives and children, they need to eat. It is so unfortunate. Like, a good example is what you played. That was the voice of a member of parliament describing a fellow leader. Unaona, wanajuana, anajua ya kwamba he's not a good manager. He's talking that and saying that Governor James Orengo is not a manager, and he's pointing out things that he needs to do. Unfortunately, this is someone that they are close. They have been sitting in the same arena. They've been, interacting and eating together. And he has never pointed these serious issues to him. Now that he feels that he did not respect the president, or now that he feels that he spoke against, someone who gave him a job, akakuwa sijui public whatever, saizi ameongezwa security na amepewa magari karibu 2 na, so he's defending that. What is he defending? He's defending greed. He's fighting for himself and his families, and he doesn't want anyone to touch that. If you speak up against someone who gave him that opportunity, he comes out to, to point out those things that he knows you've not done. While if you had not pointed out those things to the president, and he has been with governor. Mi naonanga huyu jamaa, huyu mheshimiwa akitembea na governor kila mahali. I'm wondering why he's never gotten the opportunity, anaenda ku embarrass himself in the parliament. And it was also in order for whoever was chairing that parliament to allow such kind of comments, because that was actually in order for him.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm seeing Laban is here. Hi, brother Benson Makobura. Thank you so much. Laban is asking Makobura, people must work. Laban is saying people eat from their sweat. Okay, Douglas Kibogong. Ben, ask Ken, I think it's Makobura. Was Ruto in that case of yours? Okay, sorry, Makobura will. People cannot sit on the internet and saying Ruto must go. Okay, thank you so much. And I want to bring Laban to speed what we are discussing. We are discussing about, I don't know whether you came across a presser that was held by professionals from the Luo region, and they were condemning the remarks that were made by Governor James Orengo to a point where in the extension of their presser, they were saying that if they can even censor him, or if they feel that he has violated the constitution, they can even go ahead with impeachment. So we are asking about that, and we are looking at the leadership. And there's something that Orengo said that was very, very, very much particular, and I want to connect it to the leadership of the president, because there are so many times that we've seen president inviting leaders from each region talking about development, but Orengo said that development, if there's something to come into your country, it is by a right. You should not be a present worship team for you to get that development. The constitution has given you that right. Mr. Miguda, what do you say about that? That everything that the president or the development that should come into a particular area, it is already enshrined in the constitution, and it is your right. So you need not to praise and worship for you to get those developments.
Before I talk about the issue of development in the constitution, it's also very important to respond to Douglas and keep this debate to an end. Douglas has also right there that Miguda is an ally to Karua, and lastly, Jeff Sokona has also said that Miguda has joined Eric Ayaga to it. I must state them very clearly. You could have met me in person. Me, I'm just an ordinary citizen, mwananchi wa kawaida, raia tu wa kawaida. I got no links with the Karua. And the only thing is, you must understand that when our ideologies converge, maybe I defend the human rights, I defend the constitution or institution. That's now my ideology, and Karua and Orengo has converged, but sometimes they can diverge. So maybe we are friends ideologically, but not that friendship you are talking about. And also, I'm not a supporter of Karo, by the way. And actually, it is me who have come openly this time and say that last election, I voted for Baba. Baba was my candidate. And if you come to my constituency or my village or wherever I'm residing, and people, of course, people knows me very well. I'm well known. The only person who can oppose Baba, the least person is me. So before you say things like Karo and those things, sometimes you need to do a little bit of background check. The issue of joining to eat, I was saying that people might advise you that stop activism, come and join us to eat.
Yeah.
But not that we are joined to eat. No, I've not joined to eat. And actually, if I join to eat, and even if I could be being paid for my services being offered here, I could not be here. And brother, once I will join any political party,
Yeah.
you will not see me in this channel. Brother Benson will brief you that today henceforth, may God has joined
Yeah.
government or may God has joined ODM. And so from now henceforth, when we bring him here into the show, he will be speaking matters concerning ODM because that is the party he belongs to. He will be speaking matters concerning the Karoa because he belongs to Karoa. He will be speaking matters concerning government because right now he was given a job as a civil servant or was appointed in the docket of interior. So whenever I'll get any, I'll just brief Brother Benson. So I call, okay, I can even come once in a week because right now I'm working under CS Murkomen. Therefore, when I come here, I'll come now trying to
To
defend the
defend.
CS Murkomen. But for now, no, not to defend
Yeah.
the people's activities within that interior docket, but
Mhm.
not to act in a manner that I'm going to violate the rights, the constitution, the fact that because let me tell you one thing. The
Mhm.
fact that
Yeah.
I'm opposing the government doesn't mean that now I cannot get a job in government. No, I have a right. I'm qualified. I will get that job. So when people will threaten you that we will if you try any application, we are not going to give you job. No, even Badi opposes Ruto and he got a job. So what you need to do once you are in that government,
Mhm.
those ideological things you have before you get to the government, all those activism things you are doing, try to bring them into government so that you can have a divergent opinion within the government. Not that you are going to be a sycophant or what people are doing, because you also must remember that most of me, that's why me I like elective position because once you are elected, no one can
Mhm.
interfere with you. But if you are appointed, if you try to have a divergent opinion, your boss will fire you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But if you
Thank
are
you so
elected
much.
like an MP or an MCA, stand your
Uh,
ground because it's the
okay.
people who have elected you.
Okay, thank you so much. And let me take this opportunity also to welcome Mr. Gitonga for joining us. We really, really appreciate for your support. And guys, we are still reminding you of our project that will take place this year. Is about buying the rims. We've gotten some good contribution from some of our friends, and we are still continuing to do so. And we are planning, if we will be doing that project, we will try our level best to make it live so that you can join and participate in it. And we are working towards that. And Makubura, I want to ask you about the presidency itself, because like we know, there's an institution of presidency and there's a president. And in the institution of presidency and the president is the father of the nation and is a sign of unity. You know, you unite every Kenyan, be it those who are opposed to you or those who are aligned their thoughts towards you, you have to serve them because you are the father of that nation. You've been given the mandate by the constitution to do so. And we are seeing this system, which did not start with the administration of President William Ruto. It has been there ever since. About the present worship that Orengo was talking about, or the present worship, whereby sometimes if we want development to come to our area, or if we want to 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 remain relevant, sometimes we go or we tend to tilt towards the presidency, you know. And it reaches a point whereby even if maybe the presidency or the office of the president has made wrong decision, or the presidency has done something that should be criticized, we tend to shy away from talking about it in the pretext that, okay, I might be taken out of the circle. How does this one affect the development of the people and the growth in terms of democracy and strengthening our political processes?
Being a sycophant, bring a praise and worship team in the political limelight has costed the people of Kenya highly. It is part of the reason why the people of Kenya are suffering. It is part of the reason why there is high level of corruption in the government. It is part of the reason why there is high level of political leaders and leaders forgetting that there's a constitution and citizens of the Republic of Kenya has a right to give their views, to move, and also to do things easily. When we have this kind of praise and worship that James Orengo, the governor of Siaya, was speaking about, they tend to mislead the president. They tend to mislead the leaders. And when you are being told that, what, wewe uko sawa, unafanya kazi vizuri, shai inafanya, when you find leaders surrounding you, misleading you, you will not get to understand what is really happening on the ground. And that is the mistake that President Ruto is doing. That is part of the reason why almost the Gen Zs almost took over, and the Gen Zs almost went with this government, just because the people surrounding the president are not telling him the truth. The president is not intact. He's not understanding. He does not know what is happening on the ground. He does not know the needs of the people. He does not know what the people are saying. He does not know, those pertinent issues that the people of Kenya want him to look into. And the people of Kenya, of course, the citizens, and the constitution is very clear. The citizens, the people, we are the people. The people has, as in the constitution of the Republic of Kenya, the constitution gives the people, the citizen, a mandate and the right to question their government and to question whoever they've woken up to give a chance to lead. And that is part of the reason, just like I was explaining. If you're surrounded by choir masters or choir people, if you're surrounded by sycophants, there's a possibility that your government will not do or perform well, because the choir people or the sycophants will tend to mislead you in the sense that they will not point out the most important thing that you need to look into, that you need to touch. And that is why the young people went out for demonstration in June 2020, June 22, date 22, to express their anger towards a government that they woke up very early to elect, because the government was not understanding, their views. The government was not understanding what they wanted them to incorporate in the management and running of the economy. And that is very dangerous to the people. And again, when you see people surrounding you are praising you blindly, they tend to create an environment where things which are not good, things like corruption, things like officers not respecting their lives, issues to do with abductions, when you get this kind of people surrounding the leaders, then there are so many bad things which happen. And of course, we've seen that. I can give you a good uh, example of what happened in the government of William Samoei Ruto before the Gen Zs. Of course, there were so many issues which are being raised by the citizens. Part of it was, of course, things to do with consistent corruption, government not respecting the court orders, the things which are not working, like the SHA, which was introduced, and the government did not listen. And then they went ahead to give a finance bill which was totally out of order. A finance bill that was against the people. And what, if you can remember, there was a good number of members of parliament by then who would tell the president, SHA is working, but on the ground haikuwa inafanya. The people were talking about corruption. Na watu wanamwambia hakuna corruption, kila kitu iko sawa. we don't want the finance bill. No, the finance bill is good, Mr. President. This is what is going to make you, perform very well. And when it got to the people would
Mm,
not hold this, and that made them to get out, and that destabilizes the government. And such things are part of the negative things that a government or leaders do go through
mm.
when they have sycophants. And sycophants are not good people. Any person who want to lead in the Republic of Kenya and anywhere, you have to listen to the people. The people who have given you the mandate are the ones who really knows what they want and how you should lead them, because they gave you the opportunity, believing the promises that you gave them.
Okay, Miguda, I want to ask you a question because there's some scenarios in the world whereby the people of that country have decided, especially like yesterday, if I bring you back, we were talking about voting wisely when the voters choose not to vote wisely, and the wise will vote for them, you know. But there's some scenarios where we've seen, especially like the people have taken tough measures because when you look at places like Singapore, when their leader Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, when he came into power, he came forcefully, through flawed democratic process, I would say so. But in that process, you find that the foundation that he made has put Singapore as one of the powerhouse in terms of economy of that country. Yeah, and through that, these free corruption, and that one has ushered in like education, the health sector is improving, and the country is riding and thriving. At what point do you think a country can reach, or let's say for a Kenya like this, at what point can they reach and decide that, okay, let us make good decisions so that we can make in tough choices, and these tough choices are to see that we are having an environment in the government where is free from corruption, an environment whereby education is thriving, an environment whereby health sector is improving, and an environment whereby in a nutshell, we have a healthy country in all sectors and everybody's enjoying.
Kenya's people, we had our history. We have come
Yeah,
from somewhere and we are
yeah.
right where we are and we are headed somewhere. And we should be informed by our history. And that is why we Kenyans, we wrote our constitution. And during that time, people incorporated those things we have asked me, like the issue of economical and social rights, were incorporated so that we can have those good infrastructure, universal health coverage. We have stated that
Mhm.
it should be implemented by the leadership of that time. And that's why we still sometimes say that the back story is Mr. President, but people are still asking us many questions, which we will not answer them because we understand that each and every time, as a democratic nation, we go for election periodically after 5 years. So when we have a leader, this leader must implement our constitution. Once it is implemented, even this issue of inclusivity, they are there in the constitution. You don't need to bring people in government for it to be inclusive. And also, you talked about the issue of Singapore and also Rwanda, maybe. What I want to say is that what I can say tell you is that if you want to talk about the issue of how countries can do, it depends on the issue of the country. There's a country by the name Myanmar. Myanmar, they, they on 8th of August 88, they had what we call the military came into power, and the military served like 20 years in power, and they deliberately put a section into their constitution that they could not allow the person by the name Su to become the president of the Republic of Myanmar. And by that time also, they also put a certain section in the constitution that for that certain section to be amended, there must be at least one military vote, that you must get a military vote from from one of the officers for you to implement that, to amend that section. That led to 20 years of military dictatorship. But there was a time whereby there was a by-election 3 years to the 2015, then they went for election. But this person was detained, later become the president for that country in 2015. The reason why I brought that is because I was trying to say that these things, they vary from one state to the other. It can't be that we need to compare or we want to contrast Kenya and other states, but we also need to delve too much in the history of a nation. The history speaks loud, and the people who are there, like us, we got opportunity to write our own constitution, and we understand where we came from, what we should do in each and every particular time, because the constitution is progressive. Therefore, even if Ruto is not the president today and Marco Bura is there, they will implement. Anybody, even if Ayaga is there, they will implement. That's why we are this thing. We have been insisting that even you have had this activist saying that there's no problem here. The much problem should be implementation. Once we implement it effectively, then I think we are going to get it right.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is the question that our friend Gibson Connor is asking. Brother Ben Media, can you please tell us whose government gave us the best health, education, and gave us the living standards in Kenya if one didn't come from a modest background? I think Kibaki administration did well in terms of promoting education, even good health as compared to where we came from, because remember, Kibaki is the only person who took decisive measures. Within 100 days, he was ready to implement the free primary education. It's only President Kibaki who never toured the country launching projects. If he did, very less. Yeah. And he was that person that when he was going somewhere, he never wanted people to leave their jobs to come and wait him by the roadside. If you remember his administration, from fair enough, even if it did not give Kenyans what they want by the aspiration of Kenyans by that time, but if you compare the regime of Moi and what Kibaki did, and coming into Uhuru 1, 2, and now we have President William Ruto, I think Kibaki administration has done very, very, very well. There are things that you can say about the administration of President Mwai Kibaki. Makobura, Miguda talk of something that we've always had a periodic election. And when we are having this periodic election, what the leaders usually tell us tend to be the same. If you look at from the time NAC came into power to where we are today, are you seeing we've retrogressed or progressed?
I think in terms of health,
yeah,
or general.
No, when you look at just give it on a general view, do you see there's a progress that we've made or we've retrogressed? Maybe there are places that we've progressed, there are places that we've retrogressed, maybe.
Okay, in general, we've made steps, and we have to, I think as a people, we have to acknowledge that, and we have to say, we have to accept that fact. We've done well because we fought for so many things, and part of the things that we fought for, we are seeing the benefits. We fought for multipartyism. Today we have got so many parties, and people have the freedom to move to different parties and give their opinions. We fought for free education wherever. People, when Kibaki came, the introduction of free primary education, which helped and gave the opportunity to so many Kenyans, especially those who did not have uh, uh, finances to go to school, and had the opportunity to get a basic right, that is education. Again, we've moved. We got the new constitution, which has really assisted us. If we were not having the 2010 constitution, we'll still be going through so many injustices. But thanks to the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, as much as our leaders are not really following or respecting it, it has really given us the opportunity to express ourselves. Part of what we are doing here, of course, is courtesy of the Constitution. In terms of governance, of course, we've done quite. We've tried, but of course, we've also gotten to so many problems where the leaders that we've given chance to lead us, more of them, instead of looking into the issues which are affecting the people of Kenya and solving these problems, they've opted or gotten into what we call greed and personal benefits. And that is the challenge that we're having as a country. The people of Kenya are doing well, they're working hard, but the people who are doing the management, the political leaders, the members of parliament, governors, president, cabinet secretaries, are the people who have let us down. And we are saying that boldly without fear of any contradiction. And we hope that they will be watching and seeing all these things. If they don't, then there's a new generation that is coming in that is going to change everything. Miguda, you can give us your take, and then you can also give us your take on that before I read some comments here. Miguda? Okay, maybe before he comes, allow me to acknowledge the presence of Douglas Kibogong, Donald Kimaya, Gypsy Kona, Gitonga, Laban Misiani, and Brenda Obedi, Asili, 2TV, Judith Caretha, and everyone who joined us today. To especially those who have commented. I can also see our good friend Batseba Ndwari at the comment section. I just want to say that this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us, and we'll really, really appreciate. I also wanted to remind you about the project that we are planning to have, and we are planning to support a school, especially those children who have not had the opportunity to have a good education, in terms of wengine wanafukuzwa waende walete rim papers and such kind of things. So we are planning to just assist some schools, whereby we'll be buying some educational materials like rim papers, and we'll take to them so that those can assist them. As a channel, that is what we are planning to do in the coming few months. And we've shared on the screen, there's a write-up that is running on the screen. That is how the contribution can be channeled. There's a number there. You can support us so that by the time we'll be visiting this school to assist these children, we'll have enough. We'll also try to just do a live session when we'll be handing over those ring papers and whatever we'll be giving to them. Yeah, so today we were talking about the echoes of the nation, what President Ruto needs to do so that the people of Kenya would then get an opportunity to also explore and get to understand what is really happening in their country. We've had a long discussion. I was here today with Brother Benson and together with Miguda, but since Miguda has a problem with this network, I'll not go for long. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. We really, really appreciate. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all well, and I hope that you'll join us again tomorrow. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.